back to the Damo Beware and the Boys podcast with of course my recurring special and very beloved guest, Dee the Toy Hunter.
Yes, sir.
And today we are going to talk about something that's probably about what, a week now overdue. We're
Yeah.
going to talk about the Coming to America sequel. Coming to America.
There you go.
Obviously we are fans of the original, and it came out. I forgot what year it was, like the late '80s, early '80s. No, late to mid '80s, something like that.
I think it was like 88, 89, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and we're huge fans of Eddie Murphy. Period. And like, Coming to America is probably like, I'm gonna say, within my top five like black movies. In that list. You know what I'm saying, for me. So it may be like top three.
Yeah, I know it's top three for me.
Yeah,
actually, it's number one.
Oh, number one.
Yeah,
it's like I'm tied between that and Life, I think.
Yeah,
and maybe Harlem Nights. I don't know, but yeah, the sequel just came out on Amazon Prime. I forgot what date. We'll bring it up. It should be right here on the poster right here. Yeah, March 5th. Came out March 5th.
So last Wednesday.
Yeah, last Wednesday.
Yep.
And you saw a little bit earlier than I did, because didn't it come out like earlier that morning or something like that?
Yeah.
But and we talked a little bit about it beforehand, and a little bit after, I watched it and stuff like that. But yeah, man. So what is your overall, I mean, you told me mostly beforehand, but tell everybody, what is your overall thought on the movie, and then if you like it, if you don't, all that.
I enjoyed it for the simple fact that they paid homage to the original movie,
right?
And they also paid homage to Prince, and they were able to bring back a lot of the older characters from the movie. And I thought the comedy aspect of it was still funny. It's nowhere near as funny as the first one. I will say that. I'll go ahead and get that out. It's nowhere near as funny as the first movie, but there were a lot of comedic moments in this one, and I just thought it was done well. This was a movie about 4 or 5 years in the making, and we got it. And like I said, I really enjoyed it, and I would call this a family movie as well,
right?
Because if you want to introduce, let's say, your 12 or 13-year-old to Eddie Murphy, I would start with this.
Right, because it, and that was something that I thought I didn't think it would water it down, because the first one, of course, was rated R. And then this one is rated PG-13.
Right.
But there isn't like any kind of really heavy material, in the first one, other than I can think of like the language. It might
the language and the nudity, that was about it.
Right. Yeah, there was that one, I think maybe one or two nude scenes. I know there's one in the very beginning where he's getting out of the tub and stuff, which I thought that was funny in the new one, where they showed the girls again, and they kind of had like similar clothes, but they had like, like clothing material up under there.
Yeah, they were actually covered.
Right. So, I mean, I guess that was maybe like a real jab at them, letting you know that they're trying to make it PG-13 or something. Because that was something, honestly, they kind of could have, changed the angle or something like that. And
right.
But it is what it is. But yeah, man, my thoughts on it are, it's very similar to what you said. It's a good movie. The whole point of it is that they paid homage to, the original. And I think that's something, because, you see on social media that a lot of people had some weird views about it, because, I mean, of course, you can't expect it to be the first one, but that was the whole point, It's 30 years later. It's telling a very similar story but different.
Yeah.
It had a little bit of a message talking about like changing traditions and things. Very similar to how the old one was, of course, changing traditions because, of course, he went to America and married Lisa, to where they wanted him to marry what was it, the original Colonel Izzy, the father, something like this, daughter, the one barked like a dog, and and yeah, they wanted it to be similar to that, like showing you change. But one thing I thought was cool about it, because I mean, today they're doing a lot of that inclusiveness stuff, which some of it's fine, some of it's a little overboard, but they showed some, they were showing change without getting real deep into that kind of thing. It was change as far as, you don't have to do what this person did. You don't have to do like that. You can do it this way, still make it right.
Right.
And
that's something else I also noticed in the movie. Like you said, we were talking about inclusiveness. How nowadays they, have to hammer it down your throat.
Right.
Whereas it was more subtle in this.
Yeah.
But it was done correctly.
Right. And it didn't go into like, I mean, if it did, but it didn't go into like the inclusiveness as far as like, diversity, gender, anything like that, or sexuality, which
right.
But it was just talking, it went a different way, which I thought was neat. It was just talking about, similar to the old. It's like you can do things different, and it can still be all right, because when it comes to that talk of inclusion, that it deals with women and things like that as well. Which I think that was the point with this one. It was where, of course, like I said, spoiler alert. We didn't say a couple of things that spoiled it anyway, but and this is going to be all spoilers throughout this. It's already in the title. It's going to be in the YouTube title.
Right.
It was about where, of course, the whole movie wanted his son. His son was supposed to be his heir, just like the heirs before him. All the kings and all that.
Right.
And this one, of course, at the end, it was like, hey, your daughter was literally raised to be the heir because you had no male heirs. So, she was raised to be in that spot. The thing is, they were already conditioning her for that. But of course, he was still set in his ways of what the king wanted him to do, Joffin chauffeur.
Yeah.
And in the end, of course, his daughter was the heir, and his son became the ambassador to America.
Mm-hmm.
Which that was cool. They did something like that because I was thinking maybe near the end they were going to be like, oh, okay, he's not really your son. He's going to run off and marry the girl, something like that. I thought it was going to be something like that, but no, it stuck with that where it was a son, plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
Now the only thing I felt weird was how they rushed the love kind of romance storyline between him and the. What was I'm about to say barber, her stylist? So I don't know, just overall stylist, whatever that he had.
Well, they did mention her as the royal barber. So
royal barber. But yeah, they rushed it. You know what I'm saying? I wish they would have kind of drug it out like the original.
It's like in the first movie, it was that slow build between Lisa and the king.
Right.
Like it started on a double date and then it ended the way it ended. So yeah, they did kind of rush that a little bit, and that's really the only nitpick I really had about the movie.
Right. I mean, that's why I told you before. When we had our conversations, that I only had very few cons, and my cons aren't really any that really would set in and be like against it. It's still a great movie.
Yeah.
And, like I said, one big pro is they brought everybody back,
Mm-hmm.
That's, everybody that they could. Of course, we didn't have the queen because she passed away, right?
I believe so. I might have to Google that just to be sure, but I believe she did pass away.
Right. And we didn't have, who else? There was somebody else I think they didn't have. I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but of course you had Eddie and Arsenio playing as the dudes in the barbershop.
Mm-hmm.
You had the one guy who who was I forgot the dude's name, but he played one of the guys in the barbershop that no, he did not, that guy.
Yeah.
Which that was a surprise. When you told me they dug up Louis Armstrong out of whatever den he been in, whatever garage, wherever he been at, that was a huge surprise. I mean, I told you before, I thought Louis Armstrong was dead. I didn't hear nothing about him. He was a hugely successful 90s comedian. Had his own cartoon show, was in multiple TV shows doing little roles here and there.
Yeah.
And then next you know, he just disappears. You didn't hear nothing about him. Next thing you know, he pops up on here as, I'm guessing he was the manager of the Zamunda McDowell's.
Yeah.
Which I thought, I'm glad he moved on, the fries, and he moved on up, finally got the fries, man. He finally moved on up. That's what he must be making, the big bucks now, Yeah. And then who else? Everybody recreated their roles. Of course, Randy Watson came back at the end. It was good to see, James Earl Jones still doing something, because I'm gonna keep it a buck. Lord forbid anything happen to James Earl Jones anytime soon. But if this is his last role, I think it would be a good way out. It's like, oh man, he came back as one of his most well-known roles. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Who else? They dug up some more people out the gutter. Of course, Lisa came back. I can't remember her name. Her sister, that's who's missing. Her sister and Durr.
Yeah, that was another we talked about at work. Yeah, I was really surprised that they didn't bring back Lisa's sister and Daryl.
Right. That was odd. And of course, we mentioned about how I don't remember. Like I said, we both said we got to go back and watch it again and see if, because I don't remember the same thing about Soul Glow.
I don't think they did. Like I say, there has to be a double. We might have to double check it, fact check it, just to be sure. But I don't think Soul Glow was even mentioned.
Yeah, I thought about it. I was like, I don't think they said a thing about Soul Glow.
But I think my cousin Danny, shout out to Miss Danny, said that they could have played on Daryl and the sisters,
right?
Because if a lot of people don't remember, it was a minor scene in the first movie, but remember when Cleo invited Daryl over to try to patch things up with Lisa? This is right when Cleo found out that Hakeem was a prince.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to patch things up with those two. He kept slamming the door in his face, and not to mention, somehow during that scene it was raining, and the sister let Daryl in, and the sister was like, "Daryl, what happened?" Daryl just sat there. He was like, "Lisa dumped me."
Yeah, Lisa dumped.
Like, let me get you out of these wet clothes, and that was the end of that scene. It was a small scene. It was minor, but
you saw him hit that camera like this.
Yeah. It makes sense because I thought they could have played at least a little bit off that. You didn't have to be very good, but you could have played a little bit off that.
Like, give me like just a cameo appearance. I've been cool with that. Like if they was at the wedding at the end.
Yeah.
Which we might have to do some eagle eyeing, to see.
Yeah.
But it might have been something that we missed. But I think that would have been I think that for sure would have been cool to see. I'm trying to think what else. Of course, one real cool thing, we actually got to see more of Zamunda. Not much, but we got to see enough.
Yeah.
And I thought that was real cool. Trying to think. I know there's a bunch of other stuff. There's a lot to it. Of course, there's a lot of new characters. You had the fabulous Wesley Snipes as Colonel Izzy. You had
hold up. Wesley Snipes stole the movie.
He did, absolutely.
Because like I've only pictured Wesley Snipes, and I wouldn't necessarily call White Men Can't Jump, the Sidney Dean character, as a comedic role, but it had comedic elements. Right. Him playing General Izzy and like adding his flavor to
General
it.
Izzy, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Like Wesley is super talented.
Yeah, I'm just like, and we said the same thing. We need him to do more comedic roles. We really do. I didn't realize the dude was that funny.
Right. Oh, I said you need to go back and watch the Dolomite biopic that Eddie did.
Yeah, I plan on watching that at some. Since we got a long weekend, I plan on watching that at some point.
Oh yeah, great. It's very vulgar, I will say, but it's one of the movies where it's kind of like rightfully so, because if you dig into like Rudy Ray Moore's history, he was like one of the first. Well, not one of the first. Of course, there were people before that, like Red Fox and people like that. But he was like one of the like real underground vulgar comedians. He was on that kind of bandwagon. Like if you're looking at his comedy albums, like literally, I think the first comedy album he did where he was like, there was like butt naked on it. It was crazy stuff.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I've actually heard the first comedy album. It was super vulgar, but it was funny.
Right. So it's only right that you don't walk some like like me personally, when it comes to certain things, like it's like some things you can't water down because you want the natural art of what it's supposed to be.
Right.
Like I prefer some things to be, of course, PG-13 and stuff like that. But when it's got to be R and stuff like that to really preserve, like the artist's integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got to do what you got to do.
Right.
So, like, I appreciate it. Even though I was like, whoo, me and Randy both watching, like, whoo, some of the moments. But it's like, okay, this is the way it was.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense for someone like Rudy Ray Moore. So
right. So, I mean, who else? That Tatiana Taylor as, in the role of the daughter, who, the arranged marriage daughter. Yeah. She did real good in that,
she did solid, and like I say, them paying tribute to Prince singing, the song "Get Off." Pause.
Right.
I thought that was real cool. It was subtle because I thought about it. I was like, oh, they're paying homage to Prince. Okay. I like that.
Yeah, they did a good job with that. Like that, the whole dance number. Boyz rapping. It was decent, but I didn't see it come. It is what it is. It was okay. It was okay. I put it like that. It was okay.
Yeah.
What else, man? There was a bunch. There was a bunch. Tracy Morgan, Uncle Reem. Oh, and you can't forget about Leslie Jones as the mama. She did real good, man. Real good. Like,
this was like the first Leslie Jones role where I laughed a little bit.
Right. Like that's another lost art. We're to say as a lost art, but the female comedy role is important to to especially the black culture movies. You didn't see that a lot for a long time. Like only other person I can think of off the top of my head who was really doing a lot of female comedy roles was like Tiffany Haddish. That's it. I mean that I can think of off the top of my head since like the 90s when you had like Kim Wayans and what's her name, Regina Hall was doing stuff like 2000s. You didn't see that a lot. So now like I said. Like Leslie Jones is long overdue. She's been doing comedy for a long time. Well, I mean, you had Monique and some of them, but
when she was on BET back in the day on Comic View,
right? Yeah,
Leslie Jones,
right? She gets her just due.
Yeah, she's been in the game for a long time, and to
right.
finally get that. I mean, she's had some roles, but to get that role where you're just like, okay, you legit funny.
Right.
All right, cool.
Because like she was super funny on Saturday Night Live, and I can't judge for the Ghostbusters movie because I never saw it. But I plan to watch it. Don't, ladies out there, don't kill me. I just had to watch it just because I hadn't seen it. There's a bunch of movies I hadn't seen. There's a whole backlog of movies I need to go back and watch. I don't know. I had a kick where you get Netflix and you start watching all these shows and Hulu that you forget about a lot of films. And I'm a big film buff. I just got to go back and get in my groove.
Right.
But yeah. Like I said, Leslie Jones. I don't remember. I seen the dude that plays the prince in something, but I just don't know what he played in. Like it's somewhere up here in my mental, but I can't think about what it was. But he played a good role too.
Yeah, he basically modernized a team, basically.
Right. It was cool to see him being from Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? And doing, the kind of reverse role,
Yeah.
to where it was Hakeem who came from Zamunda to Brooklyn, So it was cool to see that role reversal right there, and things kind of play out. Even though
Jermaine Fowler is the one who played Lavelle, that played the Prince.
What you say his name is?
Jermaine Fowler. I want to say he's on Saturday Night Live.
Maybe I hadn't seen a whole lot of Saturday Night Live in a while. But
he is a comedian.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of figured, but I wasn't sure because it seemed like it's very comedy heavy. Even though me personally, I thought about this the other day. I was like, I wonder how come Dave Chappelle didn't make a cameo or something in there. I'd like to see that. I don't know why. Just say it being from East Coast. I was because I think he's from DC or something, isn't he?
Yeah. Chappelle's from DC.
Right, but he would. I think he would just fit in kind of with that environment. But still, we got Tracy Morgan for sure, and that him playing Uncle Reem. Just the chemistry he had with Simi was gold.
Great,
man, gold. And
them just beefing on ZNN. Great.
Yeah. Yeah, they had Trevor Noah as the. I didn't expect that. I did not expect Trevor Noah to pop up in there, but that was cool. I like Trevor Noah though.
Yeah, he's probably one of my favorite comedians right now.
Right, because he has like a weird, like he's him being South African. He doesn't really have that like kind of street-esque comedy flavor. But he's very cultured,
Yeah, his humor is like, I don't really know how to describe Trevor Noah's humor, but it's funny because he's one of those people that can, and this is something I pride myself on, make fun of his culture, make fun of his family, and then make fun of himself.
Right, and it's not. Him being South African, I expected like some dry humor out of him, but it's not.
No, it's not dry. It's pretty funny.
Right. Especially a lot of British, like, of course, South Africa and Britain, they kind of go hand in hand as far as, their history and their culture. So you would expect that kind of British, humor to fold over, but nah, it
never did. And it was just.
Right, and it doesn't even seem like it's African. It seems more American comedy. What he does. I think that's real dope.
And like Trevor Noah, he don't really cuss.
Right.
I put him in the same specter as like Sinbad. He could make stand up, not cuss, and it'd be funny.
Right, and that's an art. That's like a hidden gem for like you to be a successful like clean comedian. Because comedy, they're like very. I mean, there's a lot of clean comedians if you think about it, but not at their success level. Like of course you had Sinbad, you had Jello Man, Y'all know what I'm talking about.
He called him Jello Man.
I'm gonna call him what Joe Budden called him. We're not gonna call him by his name right now. Not until we know
the facts.
Right? Because
we know the facts, but we don't know the facts.
I'm gonna give the ladies the benefit of the doubt just because the court did, and I'm gonna leave it at that. But we're gonna call him Jello Man around here, just like Joe Budden did on his podcast. So, and yes, what do I say? Sinbad, Jello Man. There's some others, man. I just can't think off the top of my head. But yeah, just being cleaning in comedy is got to be rough. Because
it is.
Because you got to think about there's a lot of top tier comedians who just let it out.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
One of the greatest of all time, Richard Pryor. He just let it out. He didn't care.
Right. To me, that's the bar. That's the bar of comedy.
Yeah, Richard Pryor set the bar.
Right.
I would say somebody like Red Fox kind of started the bar. Richard Pryor set it, and everybody's trying to be Richard, and it's like, now.
Oh yeah. Well, going back to Eddie, if not for Richard Pryor, that was his biggest inspiration, right?
Yeah.
But let's see. Mr. McDowell. Oh man, to have James Amos.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was. Is it James Amos?
John
Amos.
Yeah,
I said that the other night. That's what I thought about that because I was talking to Randy about that. I was like James Amos, because we were mixing. She was thinking James Avery, who was of course the dad in Fresh Prince. Rest in peace to him, the Uncle Phil. But yeah, John Amos. Oh man, it's good. It's always good to see him. Like every role I see him in, it's just, of course, it goes back to Good Times.
Yeah.
But weird fact. You want to know a real weird fact? I don't know if this is his first role, but I saw a commercial like on YouTube. They were showing like this bunch of commercials. I think it might have been McDonald's commercial he was in like back in the 70s.
Oh wow. Weird.
But anyway. If it might have been KFC, I think it was McDonald's though. It could have been KFC. So I knew it was fast food. But anyway, back to him. Mr. McDowell, the gem of Coming to America. McDowell's. McDonald's has the Big Mac. We got the Big Mick. Of course, this time they updated and unveiled the McFlurby.
Yeah.
Where, we was talking about the other day. It's funny how their ice cream machine actually works.
Right.
I thought that was a little different, little spicy,
Weird fact. There's an actual McDowell's restaurant in the United States.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
There is an actual McDowell's restaurant in the United States. I don't know where, but I know it actually exists.
I bet you can go there and get ice cream all day, and it's never broke.
Just for the simple fact the ice cream machine works, and instead of them having Coca-Cola products, they have Pepsi.
Yeah, that's a shame. That's a shame.
I was just like, really?
It was like Pepsi is the original. I was like, really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's like,
that's how y'all flexing.
I see what you did there.
Right, man. And let's see who else. We had Rick Ross with his 5-second cameo.
Even though they used his house.
Right. I expected because they when they first announced about Coming to America, they was like, "Oh, Rick Ross is going to be in it," so I was expecting him to have a bigger role.
Yeah, he was in it for like literally 5 seconds. It's like,
right.
Who's your house, and you couldn't get a bigger role, at least a longer role.
Right. And Michael Blackson too. I expected a bigger role out of him, even though he was still funny, his little part. But come on, man, Michael Blackson. Be doing that like African comedy, kind of accent style with Zamunda. Come on, man. He should have did more.
Yeah, he definitely should have did more.
He had a small role in what was it? Next Friday, but it was still bigger than what he did in Coming to America.
But that small role in Next Friday is unforgettable.
Unforgettable. That's all. I was hoping he'd do more in Coming to America. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. I understand, like mentally, I understand that you know. Of course, you looking back at all the movies where it's a lot of like real solid star power. You can only do so much with certain people,
right?
Else it gets like really crowded. You can go back to. I mean, we had talked about Mortal Kombat Annihilation and all kind of other movies where there were so many actors in it. You're rushing it. And I think that's something that was part of the problem with we were talking about just about the relationship with the Prince and the Royal Barber.
Yeah,
they were just trying to cram time.
Yeah, because the original Coming to America is about a little over 2 hours, so I think they could have stretched it a little bit and build that romance instead of rushed it. But it was what it was.
Yeah, true that. And of course, Akeem has daughters in this one, and they didn't really do a whole lot. I was wanting more, but
at least the oldest one had she had some pretty big moments in the movie.
Right.
Of course, the fight scene at the end where she gave General Izzy the business.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He and you know what? I was thinking like maybe the fight scene was going to be a little bit more because Wesley Snipes is a black belt. He's a martial artist.
Right.
I was like, maybe they would do more, but it's cool. I understand he's getting up in age. You don't want him to get flipped and get hurt or something like that.
And just for the simple fact, also in that fight scene, if you paid attention, that they reuse. Now let's see if you can defend yourself. You sweat from a baboon's balls.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's another character. I wish Samuel Jackson would have came back as that same robber. Just be like a little older this time, a little more rugged. Somehow he in Zamunda. That'd been, or they could have had him in Brooklyn doing something, but maybe he could have been like reformed or something like that and all that. But like I said, just hopes and dreams. Maybe I'm thinking too much and reaching.
Right.
But it's all good, man. I'm glad Lisa had more lines in this one too. There was more conversation.
She was. I would say very critical part of the movie.
Right.
Because
it was good to see them together and actually having a relationship, and wow, that was like one of the cooler things to see about the evolve from the first movie into this. Is like, of course their love story, they got together, they got married at the end, boom. And then knowing that this one, it's like, they're living a married life and they have a family. It's like, that was a good thing.
All right, that's cool. It was cool to see the Rose Bearers back for this one.
Right. Right. And the most hidden cameos of cameos. Of course, Randy Watson came back. But, bro, Peaches, the twins. Bro, when I saw that, I lost it. I literally looked at my wife like, really? And she had not too long ago just seen Coming to America for the first time with me, the original. And I was like, really? Peaches? They brought them out of Brooklyn and had them here? Wow.
She say she's still the best.
Bruh, all the DJs want to feel her brass. I'm going to say it. Might get monetized when I start monetizing sometime in the future. But oh well, I don't care. That's what she said in the rap.
But the thing that made that whole scene so funny, like she had a nice little flow. And as hip-hop fans, it was just kind of like, okay, you've been working on your art for the last 30 years. Okay.
Right. Yeah, man. I thought that was great. Like to see them. Oh man. Shoot. Gosh, who else? The barbershop scene. I know we jumping all around, but I'm just recalling it as it comes to my mind, The barbershop.
The first time they walked back into the barbershop.
Man. That was like the thing I wanted the most out of the whole movie. Is like, you got to go back to the barbershop. As soon as they said Coming to America 2 was coming, barbershop.
Yes.
Barbershop.
I'm surprised that they have Cuba Gooding Jr. sitting in that chair again.
Not gonna talk about Jello Man number 2. That's why. That's why we ain't heard from him in a little while. Supposedly they were trying to bury old Cuba, but it's probably why I come. Because I think during the time that filming was when you start hearing about some accusations against him.
Yeah,
and then things just went quiet. Man, that would have been funny though. It was real funny to hear that one guy, man. It was just up there like, as soon as they was spitting jokes, they was like, yeah, and the babies with the flies all over their face. I was like, whoa. That was funny, man. I kind of hated that they threw that in the trailer, and they should have said. I mean, I guess it's
not the first time that they've done that with movies.
Right, it'll pull you in to make you watch it for sure.
Yeah, look at how they did Infinity War when they had Hulk busting out a Hulkbuster. Ain't nowhere in the movie, but they had it in the trailer.
Now they was foul for that.
Yeah,
but they did that on purpose, and I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, man, they did a solid movie, and now we gonna transition the thought process a little bit because we're collectors, right?
Yeah.
What's the pops gonna be like? What pops we gonna get out of this? We're gonna predict it.
I think we'll get a Joffrey chauffeur. I'll probably get multiples of that.
I want Joffrey in the coffin. That coffin scene just looks over at Keys and I am dying.
I know.
Smiling. I am dying. We got to get a General Izzy. Got to.
Yes.
General Izzy is coming.
At least, and he got to be leaning. He got to be leaning. Damn it, Funko, make one that move where he doing the snake.
Oh man. Good.
Definitely a General Izzy. I think we'll get the Prince.
Oh, for sure we'll get the Prince.
Gotta get City.
I'm thinking they'll probably do like 2 versions of the Prince at least. They'll do, of course, the Brooklyn one where he's got the box.
Yeah.
And then we'll get him when he's with the fake Killmongers, I call it.
Yeah.
Because he had the little Killmonger hair with the little royal
rat tail.
Right, with the little rat tail. Or the what they call it on there, the princely braids.
Yeah, the princely lock.
The princely lock, yeah. I had one of the rat tails too when I was like 12. Sadly, I didn't cut it off till about 15 to 16. But we don't talk about that. I was a weirdo. Still weird, but okay.
Weird flex about my rat tail.
Oh man. I think was like, okay, we can open up a can of worms. Was that a thing that a lot of black people had? I know a lot of white people had it.
You know what?
Oh, really? I had one because my cousin had one.
Originally, my mom wanted me to grow one.
What was it? Where did that originate from?
I don't know.
Like, was it a rapper? Was it a hip hop artist that had it or something? I'm trying to think. Did Bobby Brown or somebody have one?
I think it was Bobby Brown.
Oh man, yeah, but, that was.
Yeah, my mom wanted me to grow a rat tail, and I had one. And it was, but like it was long enough to where I could have like multiple rat tails. I could have like 3 or 4 at a time.
Right.
And then, like right when I moved here, I went down to my brother's to get a haircut, and he cut it off.
Oh man, he gave you the. Did he say it's gonna be about $8 or whatever he said?
And
$8.
The even more funnier thing about that is when I got and I showed my mom my haircut, and she was just like, "What happened to your rat tail?" I was like, "LaVon cut it." The next haircut I went and got, she put the hair in an envelope and told me to show it to him.
Hold up. Hold up.
What was left of my rat tail, she went ahead and cut it off.
Oh,
it was.
that sound like Bob did that on purpose. He was like, man,
I think he did.
Zoom, zoom, clean it out.
But it was just a time, man. That was a time.
The 90s, man. 90s. Did Ma Dukes hit you with the hot comb too?
Bruh.
Oh, that hot comb, boy. I was scared to death of that hot comb.
Man.
Mom's be like, be still. I'd be like, nation of here. Bruh. Man. Mess around and hit the back of that neck, boy, make you just jump like that. We should have a turtle shell.
Yeah, be like, yo,
man.
I told you to be still.
Man, they be feeling good that day. Be like, ooh, this is nice. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. But man, that hot cone was I'd be scared to death. That like I remember my mom had the old hot cone too, like the kind, not the kind you plug up, but the kind you sit on the stove.
Yeah. My mom still to this day has that same hot cone. Will not hesitate to use it.
Bro.
When I had my long hair, yes, America, I had long hair. That's what she would straighten my hair with.
Ooh, the hot comb, bro. That was something else. Yeah, that was man. We went back in time on that one. But yeah, man. What else about the movie? Trying to think. There was it was. Oh, excuse me. There was a lot of stuff that they really clustered into there. And like I said, I enjoyed it, and all that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, they paid a lot of homage to the first movie. They paid homage to Prince. And I love the fact that they included the Lisa and Akeem's song into the movie, that To Be Loved.
Right.
I thought that was real cool.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, when they had it where he had the band come down there and sing the version of it. Yeah, that was dope. Man. Yeah, they did a lot of good stuff in this one. I will say that. So I figure we go ahead and end it on a quick note. I figure in ending, I'm just gonna say I'm glad they did it. I'm glad they did the movie. Even though it was 30 years, a lot of people be like, oh, 30 years too late. I'd be like, you know what I'm saying? It's just something Eddie wanted to do. I don't think they were pressured into this.
No,
it's just something he wanted to do out of the love of the first one.
It was something that Eddie wanted to do. And like you say, the love for the original movie is, off the chain. So it's like,
right.
Let's give them a sequel. And
right.
this wasn't those like one of those like unwanted remakes or anything like that. Like we've been having for like the last couple years. It was actually a good sequel that you can sit down with your family and enjoy. And
right. Yeah, that was one of the good things. Yeah, you can go back and and kind of, if you had a love for this movie, of course you have so many generations. I mean, at least maybe about 1.5, 2 generations since the last one.
Yeah.
And then, you introduce them to this one. And then, you can go back. The way I thought was really cool is like how they included some of the stuff from the old one. So that way you didn't have to watch it in order. Go watch the old one, then watch this one. You can watch this one and then go watch the old one and be like, oh, okay. It's two different stories that complement each other.
Yeah. And I love the fact that they went back. They would flash back to the old movie,
right?
In certain scenes,
right.
And it, it was like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing there.
Yep. All right, man. I guess that's the end. We just did we did do a long review, but I didn't want it to be long and drawn out, because, like I said, it's been a little while since we watched it, so there's a lot of stuff that's not as fresh on my mind as it was. When I first brought up the idea of saying, hey, let's do a podcast about, a review on Coming to America 2. But we had to do it for the culture. We've been planning to do it, and we did it.
That's right.
Here we are. And everybody who's watching or going to watch, please go and subscribe to Dee the Toy Hunter's channel. Check out his hunts, his reviews, unboxing, mail calls, all that good stuff. Y'all need to go check that out. And we just want to say, hey, shout out to, I'm gonna shout out Sentry since he shouted us out on his video.
Yeah, shout out
to him, man. And pick up all the figures, man. Pick them all up.
Yeah.
He's gonna get them. I know I messed with you a little bit with the reaction figures, man. It's just a jokey joke. Just a joke. We got love for you, brother.
Yeah, it's all love, man. Sentry, he's just a good, genuine dude in the community.
Oh,
somebody
yeah,
I try to talk to on a regular, and
right.
He's just a good dude, man. And I love his videos. And
I'm going to say he is like one of the, no shade to no other toy hunters, but like he's one of the best out there, man. He'll actually communicate with you, get with you. Y'all can sit there and talk. Not saying the others won't, but he's one. You introduced me to him. You know what I'm saying? He's really supportive. Like I said, he wore the Budget Club shirt.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. You showed me that. I was like, oh man, he's all in, and he's a big wrestling fan as well. So I just want to know what he's doing with that big old basement.
I gotta send 2 shout outs to my guys. Matter of fact, 3 shot. Matter of fact, it's gonna be a few shout outs.
Go ahead, throw them out there.
Fetch Frequency. Make sure you go subscribe to him. That's my guy right there. He's out of Indiana. And of course, my man Joey Reckless, repping Philly, along with the Dangerous Jobbers podcast, which is a podcast.
Yeah. Shout out to them. Yeah, they followed me on Twitter a little while back. And who'd you say that was first? Fitz.
Yeah,
he's going to be a guest on the pod soon.
Yeah, whenever we have the wrestling talk, he's definitely going to be on here. And
right,
very very knowledgeable. Just like us, has a lot of knowledge about just about past and present, and that's somebody I love talking to on the regular. So
that's what's
shout out to him, and just good. Those are good people in the community. They're just good people.
Right. Shout out to Bearded too.
Yeah,
you can throw that shade out there. Talk about you making the movies.
Hey, well, he already done seen the debut of Dee Scorsese, so hey.
That's what's up, man. Like, huge shout out to Bearded because he was one of the. I mean, I don't know if he was your first, but you first introduced him to me, so he was like one of the first like toy hunters on YouTube that I knew about. Before, while not aside from you, what I'm saying, but like I didn't know there was like a whole community of like Funko collectors and stuff like that. He was the first one.
Yeah, you'd just be surprised, man. Like the toy community, like I say, I love being a part of it and interacting with different YouTubers and different collectors just on Instagram and this, that, and the other, man. It's a lot of great people in the community, and I love being a part of it. And as you can obviously see, it's taken over my life.
Right. Yeah, man, that's the thing. We made a hobby out of it.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
It's hobby. Now, can it be expensive? It depends.
Shoot, and we don't really get much in nothing. Like far as expenses, we're on the lower end.
Yeah,
some of them, man. Like I was literally just. I meant to close this out, but I'm just gonna bring this up just because I was literally looking at some of the page. I was like, hey, I might look into getting some of the Mythic Legion figures. Man, secondary market for them things is going. I think like they're already on bottom like $40. They're going up to like 80, 100. And I'm like, man, I don't know. I don't see how people could get those in the hot toys. It's like in the hundreds and 300, man, and just get them like nothing. But they got that money.
Yeah,
so I can't be mad at them. If you got the money,
I can't be mad at them either.
Right. So yeah, like you said, it can be expensive.
It's a dope hobby, but it can be expensive.
Right. But do what you love because hey, you could be doing something worse out there.
Exactly. So
on a closing note, we just want to say thank y'all for watching. If if you're watching, you're a viewer, if you're a YouTuber or whatever you do, streamer, hit me up. Maybe we can get you on the next podcast. Talk about something. I got some other guests planned. Some people that I know and things like that. But we'll get to that. Those are future plans. So I just want to say, hey, like, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and until next time, God bless and good gaming. You know what I'm saying? Gaming, streaming, whatever. God bless and good streaming. Just God bless. God bless you.
Yeah, God bless, man.
All right, see y'all later.